And welcome everybody to what is undoubtedly the most exciting season of Formula One World Championship motor racing extraordinaire. Although when I say formula, I'm putting the emphasis on form this year because basically the cars haven't changed too much since last year. We've still got all of the ridiculously non-porpoising cars running. Oh, well, they have changed a little bit, haven't they, Fabio? To be honest,
Yeah.
that's how much they've changed, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly that much. Yeah, I kind of agree. But anyway, oh look, I've just realised something. I've got one of these problems going on. There we go. There we go. That might fix it. Might fix it. Okay. So yeah, basically, we're back once again with the Formula One Grand Prix. We will be joined later, I'm assured, by our intrepid pit lane impersonator, Lucky Seven Wolfin. I'm hoping he'll be back in time from work. He has to work a lot. But hopefully he'll be back in time and will be joining us to give his immeasurable
Mm.
input to the show. Okay, so basically, oh, we've got a comment already. We have a comment, ladies. China. Thank you so much, Geo Sam. Oh yeah, courtesy to Geo Sam, that intro. Thank
China.
you so much. Geo, could you Discord to me possibly the outro? Because I can't find the outro for the show, and it was loaded, but it's not anymore. So I need to get that. If it's
Yeah,
possible, Geo.
GSM, please, do that because we are professionals and we have everything ready. So
We're
yeah,
not just professionals. We are. Have we gone past 8 seconds? I think we've gone past 8 seconds.
yeah,
We're
yeah, I think so.
we're
Yeah,
fucking
you're fucking
professionals.
professionals. Yeah, no, you're right. You're
So
right.
there you go. Welcome, Geo Sam. Thank you very much. Appreciate the like. And yeah, if you Discord that to me, that would be great. Let me just get that over there so when that comes through, I'll see it. Okay, moving on. So first things
Mhm.
first, we were at Bahrain for testing. That was the first thing that happened, and it wasn't really that interesting. It was basically two by two as they go, more of the same from last year. Would you agree? Fabulous. Fabio.
I have no idea what you're talking. I mean, the race in Mandalika was really good. Bautista, made a fantastic race. Fioglu, came second, and Locatelli, Bassani, Rinaldi. Ria, unfortunately, in race two, just only came fourth or fifth. So it was quite disappointing. But yeah, it was a fantastic race. Even in the super sport category, we still have Bulega and Manzi first and second, in the overall championship.
See,
Onchu 54, he got a very decisive victory in the second
see.
race in Mandalika.
Uh,
Caricasulo, Niki
Regards,
Tuli with the
regards.
triumph has got a solid 46
Mille
points, and
regrets.
Marcel Schritter with the
See.
MV Agusta 46 points. So all in all, a fantastic race in Mandalika from Indonesia. That's all. Please, back to you.
Thank you so much for that. As you can see, we are thrilled to be here. Thrilled, I say once again. But I mean, hopefully the season will
It
pick
was
up.
actually it was actually thrilling. Jonathan Rhea unfortunately had a very bad start. He crashed once, and his bike didn't work in the first race under the rain. And apparently the reason is
Oh
why
God.
they took away the counter shaft, which gave so many vibrations that broke the sensor of the automatic shifter,
Mm.
and some of
Speaking of
the
speaking of
yeah.
counter shaft,
Hmm.
uh, yes, I think that's what's happening. Okay, so we're back on a budget, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We are on a budget, ladies and gentlemen. So we only have I can't remember 20 hours per month,
Yeah,
something like that. And so we're going to have to just get on. And I do hope that we're going to keep the shows to under an hour.
yeah.
I'm looking to you, Fabio, to be the clock keeper here.
It's very hard because the World Superbike Championship this year is really thrilling. So yeah, I could
That's
talk you
what's
for
true.
hours. That's the only championship I'm aware of, which is
Damn.
right
Okay.
now.
Look, no, the testing. The testing was amazing. So, can I just have your prediction? We'll rush through this next bit. could I have possibly have your prediction for who is going to be Formula One world champion
Oh, Jesus.
2023
Fuck.
FIA approved?
Oh, it's gonna be Verstappen. Yeah. I hope it's gonna be Perez. I hope Perez is gonna pull a Rosberg, but I think it's gonna be Verstappen. Yeah.
Of course. Verstappen is where the smart money goes, obviously, the Dutch money and the smart money.
Uh-huh.
However, I couldn't possibly because, obviously I'm a huge Lewis fan. But this year, I feel like it could be James Bond. It could be James Bond.
No, I
Outside chance.
yeah. I
Go
mean
ahead.
I don't know. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, Alonso made a fantastic race. What I really don't know is if there are going to be some effects from the reduction in testing and wind tunnel for Red Bull. They came with a very strong package.
Mm.
They have something in the suspension area. They found something in the suspension area. It's really uncanny. They have a way in this in the both in the corner speed and in traction, which if I knew that it wasn't forbidden, I would scream active suspensions. No, but no, I'm serious. They probably found something in the suspension area
Fair enough.
which the adversaries still have to figure out. It's really crazy. The the car doesn't even look like a Red Bull. The setup doesn't even look like the normal Red Bull with the high rake that we saw. It's one of the lowest cars I've seen on the track, and it keeps the distance all through the various even on the bumps. It's really crazy. It has no rake at all. It's flat out. It's actually lower on the back than on the front, so it's a totally different car. And they found something in the suspension area that yeah, as I said before, the adversaries, I think they got still to figure out. So I think that's the big advantage right now. I would see how it goes in the follow up of the season, but yeah, so far it's yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I don't give a monkeys. I can't go for Verstappen. Just because I can't. I mean, it's too many years watching his dad race. So that's not going to happen. So I am going to go for Alonso. I don't care. It's an outside
Okay.
chance, I know. Um, or maybe I could go Leclerc actually, because the pacey pastry, he's going to come good sometime, right? We know he's going to come good sometime, and maybe Ferrari will have their upgrades together. So let's just. I'd like to say let's discount Fabio. Let's discount Verstappen. I assume Lucky would go for Verstappen as well.
Hmm.
What other than Verstappen, who would be your pick? Because we can't have the same person. So
Oh, it will still be
or
Leclerc.
Perez,
Well, no, I think it would be Leclerc. The
Leclerc.
guy
Good.
was
I am
really solid.
forcing you into a box here, a red
No,
box.
no, no.
Good.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. The race from the Aston Martin and Alonso was really really good. Uh, but the the race that Leclerc did up until the moment that he had the problem with the car
Hmm.
was really impressive. The guy didn't make a single mistake. The the team seems to be on some kind of point. I mean, the fact that they didn't go for the second stint in the quali because they want to save a set of tires. People have been criticizing that and all that shit. But if you look at the time, the car was as fast as the Red Bull in the
Mm,
first stint with the tires. I think the Red Bull had a zero point 0.6 advantage, while Ferrari had a zero point 0.7. So they were on par.
they were close. Yeah,
Yeah, the problem came with the art tires,
tire
which
data.
which behaved in a very weird way for almost everybody, but especially for Ferrari. This is where the cliff went really
Yeah.
happened, and the car went down.
Yeah.
But if I have to judge the driving performance, the driver was, I mean, Leclerc was bloody perfect. He didn't make any
Mm,
mistake. He just follow the pace of the race. So yeah,
yeah.
I think that that's the best tool right now that Ferrari has is Leclerc.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. And also, I mean, we haven't done the race yet, but so I don't want to prejudge that. But yeah, no, I'm going to have to go Alonso just on the basis that he's a two-time world champion. The car seems pretty good, and the tyre deg is not too bad on the Aston. Whatever they've found on that Red Bull to make it go half a second quicker again, well, yeah, whatever they
Mm.
found, they found. It looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's the aero as always. Adrian Newey's superb designer. It's what we expect. And it just means everybody's going to have to chase, 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 and hopefully, that came through your mic real loud, by the way.
Yeah, sorry about
Never mind.
that.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay, so hopefully Mercedes will bring their number two package. They've rumored to have actually developed the.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't say Alonso. I'm going Alonso. We've all got to have different ones. I thought you. Well, no, you can go Alonso. Lucky, you can go Alonso. He's saying Alonso for the win. All
Yeah.
right. Well, if you're taking Alonso, then I'll have to go for Stappen. Is Stappen a Stappen? And that's how that goes. Okay, so we've done the first part now. Moving on now. I'm going to move on now to the next bit, if you wouldn't mind, Fabio.
Oh, but
So
sorry. No,
yes, go
by the
ahead.
way, just want to say one more thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad about the Aston performances, also because of the fact that the engineering director is an Italian. So yeah, listen. I got
He's
listen. I've got to
all
find
bases
things.
covered.
Yeah, Luca Furbato, brilliant engineer,
Okay.
and yeah, he made a brilliant car. But yeah, regardless.
Okay, jolly good, jolly good. Okay, so onwards with the race recap, as is traditional. We'll try and do this. So Verstappen in pole, Perez second, and then Leclerc and Sainz. They got away to a good start. Both Ferraris getting away good. Perez dropping back a little. Leclerc getting into second place and getting round Perez. Uh, Clean side of the track, obviously, paying dividends once again. And that's the way they got forward. Verstappen driving away, Leclerc hanging on, Perez having a battle with Sainz. A good battle as well. Sainz drove well, I have to say. Not quite the pace that Leclerc was able to pull out, but still a good pace. And then Alonso, and then, sorry, Hamilton, Alonso having a battle with Russell, eventually to get the better of him. Also, turn three, I think it was turn three or turn four actually. Um, Stroll outbraked himself and ran into the back of Alonso, and that may have hampered Alonso somewhat. Although, as it turns out, it really didn't matter too much. But nonetheless, uh, Stroll recovering from a terrible bike accident where he broke a wrist and broke some bones in his one of his hands, badly damaged the other, and broke his toe as well. So clearly, it was a difficult time for him out there, and actually showed a lot of pluck, a lot of great British pluck and courage to get in the car and actually drive it relatively well. I mean, he hung on to Alonso for as long as he could. Obviously, Alonso fit is the thing, and he really enjoyed he enjoyed the whole weekend. You could see that was written on his face. Anyway, Russell putting in the fastest lap at about lap 16, lap 17. Uh, and then Valtteri and Alonso getting together at one point. Alonso easily passing, uh, based after pit stops, etc., and then coming through. Same with Russell. Russell coming through the pack did really well. Of course, Russell drove perfectly as we expect from Russell, although not very quick. I guess it was the yeah, forget the first clip. Okay, no worries. I've seen it. I'll get to it after this bit. Yeah, so Russell drove perfectly, as we've come to expect from Russell. The car just not fast enough. That Mercedes just not fast enough. They're going to have to come up with their second package, I think, which is going to be dropping the size zero side pods, I believe. Um, Deg on the Mercedes as well, just not good enough. Perez finally getting past um, Sainz in turn number one, obviously using DRS. DRS was very powerful at the Bahrain. They had 3 DRS ranges. Uh, Sainz tried to come back at him, but there was just no way he could do it. That Red Bull just way too fast. So okay, yep, thank you, CEO, seen that. And then up to lap 32 for the second round of pit stops. Russell in first triggered everybody else to come in, and in fact had a very good time. Managed to get ahead of Stroll and come out ahead of Stroll, which was the overcut, which was undercut, sorry, which really worked well. Yeah, so then lap 32, it was Verstappen pulling away 14 seconds to Perez. Huge gap. Oh my God, huge gap. Another 10 seconds back to Leclerc, even huger gap. That's 22 seconds by lap 37. I mean, what does that say for the rest of the season? My goodness. Anyway, later on, at the best battle of the night, Alonso and Hamilton. Of course, old antagonists. Hamilton really driving pretty well. Alonso managed to get past with DRS. Unfortunately, outbraked himself, slight bit of a oversteer, and had to correct that. And Lewis managing to get back by. Eventually, though, it was not to be. Then the very next straight, Alonso outdragged him and got by relatively easy. The Aston Martin looking really quite superb and having better deg on the tyres as well, more importantly. So, again, Toto, after the race, had to admit that the customer team, the customer Mercedes team, had done a much better job at designing a car for the year, and Alonso really taking advantage of that. And that's pretty much how it was going to be until lap 41 happened, when unfortunately the very unlucky Leclerc suffered an engine problem with the Ferrari and dropped out. This left the order as Verstappen 11 seconds to Perez, and then 22 seconds back to Sainz. A massive, massive gap. Like a second a lap, Verstappen pulled out on Sainz. Now, admittedly, that isn't the lead Ferrari, but nonetheless, that's still a massive gap. Further down, Gasly also put in a stellar drive to pull from 20th place to finishing in 9th place. Plenty of overtaking by him. Really, really well driven. It's his first race in that pink car. The what car is it? Alpine. The Alpine.
Alpine, yeah.
And thank you. And yeah, he drove a stellar race, I have to say. Really showed on Ocon where to get off. And that's going to be a rivalry to watch all season, I think. Eventually, they will come together, of course. Alonso then caught the back of Sainz, and not cleanly, but was on his tail. Eventually, after I think it was lap 47, 45, managed to get past Sainz again, out dragging his car. Again, tyre deg really playing a part, I think, and the hard tyres just not suiting the Ferrari at all. For whatever reason, I'm not certain. But yeah, down the main straight with DRS, it was pretty much an easy overtake. So no chance to come back, as I say, with the front end suffering on that Ferrari. And that left the race to finish in that order, really. Verstappen in first place, 11 seconds back to Perez second place. 11 seconds is quite a gap. 26 seconds to Alonso, and then another 10 seconds back to Sainz in fourth place. Hamilton 2 seconds behind that, surprisingly, although that's the lead Mercedes driver to the second Ferrari. And then Stroll in sixth, Russell in seventh, again just minding his time. Bottas a great drive in eighth place. Gasly a really superb drive from 20th and fastest lap for ninth place, and a commendable 10th for Albon in the Williams. Williams putting on a lot of a lot better show this year and with a lot faster car. And Albon then saying after the race that the Williams really likes cold conditions. And that's how the race finished. And of course, that is the order of the championship as well. So thank you very much. That is the roundup for the Bahrain 2023
Mhm.
Race 1 Formula World Championship in Bahrain. Bahrain. The circuit de Bahrain
Yeah,
of Bahrain. That's
yeah.
all I know.
Just, just a couple of things.
Oh, great. I'm
The
glad.
no. So um, let's start with Ferrari first. The good thing about the car is that it seems to be that they're able to run on full power. There was a huge difference in top speed compared to last year. So it seems to be that the car is a little bit more efficient. Uh, the other thing that we have to say is that Leclerc had to change both the batteries and the ECU before the race. That's a component which can be changed twice a year. So we'll see if they change just out of precaution or if they can, follow up with the predicted rotation of the materials. The other thing, I'm not super sure that it was an engine problem. They claim that it was a problem with the IC part. I mean, the internal combustion part. I mean, the proper engine. I am not 100% sure that it was a problem with the engine because the car, the car just shut down, and so it was really weird. But
Okay.
regardless, other than that, other quick comments. We talked about the Aston. Uh, I don't think you mentioned the fantastic duel that an overtake that Alonso made on Hamilton.
I did,
uh
yes.
okay, sorry about that.
You
It
fell
was it
asleep. Yep, I understand.
Yes, it was an amazing overtake in a section of the track that where nobody overtakes anybody, so that was brilliant to see
Mhm.
from Alonso part. From Hamilton part, I saw him a little bit. I mean, it didn't look like the usual Hamilton. I don't know if it didn't care or stuff like that, but it was quite disappointing. I mean,
Mm.
Hamilton is not exactly a person which is easy to pass, and see him, being overtaken that
Yeah,
way in that section without taking anything away from Alonso. It was quite okay, yeah, that's interesting.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think
uh,
for me it was the deg. Hamilton or Lewis really got pissed off that the deg was so high because,
yeah,
like,
maybe
in the
still.
long runs they'd done on the testing, Lewis had done really, really well. So,
No,
uh,
no,
you know,
I understand, but still, thinking about the thing which has been going on between Alonso and Hamilton, from previous years. I think it was
yeah,
quite something that made Hamilton a little bit uncomfortable, and that the way it didn't react. I mean, Alonso also passed signs, and even and we could see that there was a serious degradation on the tires
yeah,
from Ferrari. But even then, it seemed to me that Sainz was a little bit more combatant, even if it wasn't the case, because they told you on the radio, keep the position, and said, no, I can't.
mm,
So yeah, I mean, it was weird. I would have expected somebody more from Lewis, especially against Alonso. But
yeah, maybe, maybe. I think. Personally, for me, I think Lewis was playing the better part of Valor there. He knew Alonso could easily get by down the straights anyway, so I don't think he wanted to start the year off like just being an asshole, basically,
yeah,
because he's more concerned about media right now. I feel, and I think he knows straight away he's not going to win the championship again this year. He knows it, so I think we're going to see a different
yeah.
Lewis.
The-
Okay. Anything else you'd
Sorry.
like to say
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
little section? Go ahead.
Two more quick things. Talking about highs and lows. Bottas eighth with the Alpha. I mean, it seems to be a solid car.
Hmm.
Even the As seems to be, an
Oh,
interesting car this year.
mm.
More so with Hulkenberg than with Magnussen. The Alpine, I mean, Ocon got, I think at the end of it, got a total of 20 seconds of penalty because, he failed to
No,
place himself right. And
35.
then, what, how many?
35 seconds of
35,
pen.
yeah. Because, yeah, he failed to put himself in the proper spot at the beginning. And then they gave him another 5 seconds because he failed to get the 5 seconds or maybe 10. And then there was something else. I mean, it was a fucking nightmare. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
He's speeding in the pit lane when he did the
yeah,
first penalty, gave him another 10
yeah.
seconds. And then
So,
he,
so,
yeah,
yeah. So
you
I
go.
would say hi, Alpha and Nas, very good. Of course, Williams, really unexpected. And another big disappointment is McLaren. It seems to be that the car is really a dog to drive.
Yeah,
Norris put up a fantastic fight with the piece of machinery that they seem to have right now. But that wasn't enough. At the end of it, the car just showed for all the problems that it seems that the car has.
yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, a quick one, Gio. I like Fabio's jumper sweater.
Yes,
Is it a jumper or a sweater? Could you just clear up the
it's
dilemma?
I think it's more. What's the difference?
I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Make
yeah. It's
pick. It's
it's
one or the other, though. It's a dichotomy. I know that.
it's a swamper
It's a swamper.
or a
Okay.
or a
Thank you.
jetter, whatever.
Okay. And quickly speaking, I have two Dutch guys to watch for this season. Yeah, I think that's a famous film, isn't it? Two Dutch guys, one cup.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Who's
That
the
is a
second
famous film.
Dutch?
Welcome, Bob Elvis. By the way, it's really good
Yeah.
to see you back. I think that we've missed you a lot and your insightful comments. Yeah, Nick de Vries.
Oh,
He
Nick the
really did
Fast.
well. He
Yeah.
really did well early on, didn't he? And also during testing, he was superb. I have to say.
Hmm.
I really hope that he's in Williams. Is that right? With
Yeah.
Albon, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really hope that he can get up to speed of Albon. Albon's a very fast driver, of course, as we know, and there's no reason that he can't get up to speed pretty damn quick. Obviously, he doesn't know the tracks, and that's where he's going to suffer.
Yeah.
And they don't help this. They don't help anymore because you don't get much time during practice. But nonetheless, I'm
and
looking
and
forward
it's
to watching
very
him
hard to
improving.
find PS5 to
Yeah,
to test track. So that's
that's
another
true.
thing. Yeah.
That is true. Okay, so we've got Lucky backstage. So I just want to bring Lucky in now. Thank you. So we're very privileged to have him. He's our intrepid pit lane interpreter. And I just got to say thank you and a big thanks. Lucky, there you are. Congratulations
Good
on
evening, gentlemen.
making it back from work. We're really pleased to have you with us.
Well,
First of
thank
all,
you.
well, I'll just pass it over to you. Comment on anything you like, and we'll go from there.
Well, first of all, it's
Oh,
great to see
hang on
you
a minute.
guys again.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I've got to be corrected here. Straight away, Bob Elvis has pulled me up on my bullshit. Nick is in the team with Sonoda. Is that right? He's in AlphaTauri?
Yeah. Yeah. AlphaTauri. Yeah.
He is in AlphaTauri.
Yes.
That's why we have you here, Bob Elvis. That's why you're here. Okay. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, my mistake. AlphaTauri. Yep. Okay. Sorry, Lucky. Go ahead. I need
Yeah.
to.
Williams has got Albon and the
Mm.
American guy Sergeant.
Ah, Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Logan's run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So anyway, thank you, Bob. Go ahead, Lucky.
well, apologies for my lateness. There were two no-shows at work today, so I had to hang out a bit later. I think we better talk about that jumper before anything else. Is it
Mhm.
cold in Italy at the moment?
I'm naked on this one. So
From the
yeah.
waist
Yes,
down.
Yes.
it is cold. I've seen some
Yeah.
snow in the
No, but
mountains.
It's not cold. I mean, you know that in the Sahara Desert, they use wool to insulate, from temperature. So it works both from hot and
Uh,
cold. And I'm
Okay.
also naked. I'm also naked from the top down. This is as far as you can see. Below that, it's all naked. And this
right,
is
right.
not a can of beer, by the way. But the can of beer is not on the table. So
That kind of beer strategically placed to
Right,
cover things up.
Good. We're
it's
just
not it's not touching the table. See?
we're gonna have to hide you from broadcast. I feel.
That's not well. I mean, this is not the table.
Okay,
When I
jolly
when I
good.
when I first saw it, I thought that's one of those Christmas present jumpers that you get that goes in a cupboard and never gets worn. But anyway, apologies again for my lateness. It's great to see you guys once again. And those in chat, thanks for joining us. I think most of them are me actually, but never mind. What can we say? Hooray for Alonso! Alonso's back. I'm not going to pick a driver to win because I don't support drivers. The last time I supported a driver was Damon Hill, and since then
I'm
it doesn't.
afraid you have
It
to
doesn't.
pick a driver. I'm afraid, Lucky. I'm going to hold you to it. You don't have to be right. It just has to be a driver which you can keep an eye on throughout the season, so we can all have someone to shout at or whatever. It's for the show. It's not for reality.
How about Kevin Magnussen?
There, fine. There's Kevin Mac, isn't he?
No, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go with Logan Sargent. How
There
about
you go. Yeah. Logan Sargent it is then.
that? Logan Sargent for the win.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I mean, I'm a huge Williams fan, so I appreciate that.
Oh,
Okay,
oh.
so anyway, so can I change my one back from Verstappen to Alonso?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm back to Alonso then.
Wow.
So we're all musical chairs. Very unlike Formula One this year. Okay,
Right.
go ahead, please.
So
The Bahrain Grand Prix. How did you find it? What did you find interesting? And is there anything else you'd like to comment on?
Well, let's be honest, guys. First to second was 11 seconds, I think, or 13 seconds, sorry. Second to third was 15 seconds. I think that might be a marker we're going to see for the rest of the year, but hopefully not. The best racer on the track proved himself to be the best racer on the track once again, Mr. Alonso. He made the race, really, didn't he? Despite the attempt by Stroll to take him out at the second corner, or first or second corner, one of the two.
Yeah, turn 4, I think it was.
And speaking of Stroll, we've now lost Nicholas Latifi, and as we know that you always need a comedy sidekick. Let's go with Lance Stroll as this year's comedy sidekick in Formula One, because I think he's going to take Nicholas Latifi's place.
Okay. I think you're being a little harsh on the lad, considering he suffered quite tremendously with his bicycle accident.
Yeah,
he was riding a trike that his dad gave him, and unfortunately crashed it. I think he went down his stairs at home on it accidentally, and
right. And he's continued that crashing theme ever since.
And there you go. He just can't help it.
But I mean, I'm judging Mr. Stroll by last year's performances as well, not just this year's.
Fair enough.
Brief encounter with Alonso at the first or second corner.
No, hold on a second. If you judge the guy from last year's performances, Alonso was shit.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, he was in a shit car. And he's not in a shit car.
I know, right? I know, that's what I meant. I mean, if you judge the guy from last year's performance, Alonso was shit, which obviously wasn't the case. So, I mean, I don't like Stroll, but I gotta admit, the guy put up, a serious performance. So, I mean, just by the fact that he had,
well, he had
so many injuries, all that shit. So
he had arguably the second best car on the track. So, I mean, why shouldn't he do well?
Well,
The
because
only
he had
car, the
broken
only car,
because he
the
had
only car,
broken bones. Jesus Christ! I
fucking
mean,
poor,
the guy
poor,
they had to pull him out of the car.
oh, poor, poor
After
fucking Posey.
qualify, after free practice free, he needed help to get out of the car.
He needs to be fucking pulled out of the car completely. That's what he needs.
Jesus Christ! I mean, okay.
I'm a Stroll supporter, I have to say, because I've seen
Well,
him
somebody
improve.
fucking needs to support him.
No,
Okay.
I think
Yeah, that's true. But I think
the
he's
thing is,
improved
sorry.
tremendously from the beginning. That first season in Williams, he was definitely a GP2 driver, and he improved relatively quickly. And he's actually outpaced some of his more experienced teammates as
Yeah.
well. So
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
he's done incredibly well considering.
and
Well,
listen, I
considering
mean,
as far as I'm up to
I
doing
wouldn't
it.
go that far because I don't like Stroll, but I got to admit, that guy was, yeah, he put some serious performance last Sunday. But yeah, anyway.
Well,
He did
again,
well. He did well.
he had arguably the second quickest car on the grid, so he should be making a good job of it. But let's see. Let's hope Alonso keeps him right,
Hmm.
and he doesn't end up being a hindrance to Alonso rather than a teammate.
Yes.
Especially if it gets to the point where Alonso is consistently making a fool of him, and he starts trying too hard. That would be a real shame, because he could be a good teammate if necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Alonso was very gracious, magnanimous to him afterwards. He, like in the last few laps, Alonso was saying, "Where is he? I hope he's doing all right." And when the word came back of where he was, he went, "Okay, that's pretty damn good considering." So
Yeah.
I think
This,
Alonso is playing the team game rather cannily, as he always does, of course. Apart from
well, there's no
We,
doubt about it. Alonso's a smart cookie when it comes to racing.
yeah, I mean, we got to see, I want to see the whole season before, talking about the race, right? Especially if things don't go really well. So I want to see the whole season because
Okay.
I know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's been around like for ages. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Remember that Benetton race? What was the
yeah,
second race at Spain? What was their second race at Spain?
yeah.
Where they have that bridge. What circuit was that? It,
Harama?
say again?
Harama? No, that's not
No.
Spain. It
Maybe
begins with
Bub can tell me because he knows most things Formula One. But anyway, yeah, it's slipped my mind now. But there was a really
stopped the
tight.
Grand Prix there now, haven't they? They've stopped. It was a street circuit, but they stopped it completely.
That's right. Yeah. But there was a race there, and like I think like Alonso crashed into just about everybody. I mean, he really did have a shocker of a race. Not that other people didn't. I remember Hamilton like getting really taken out by somebody as well. But anyway, look, just to say, if he has a shocker of a race, it's a real shocker. If he has a good race, it's a real good race. And I think yesterday was a real good race. So
Yeah.
I'm pleased. I'm really pleased because at least I know how he will deal with Verstappen. Right, if they get alongside each other, right,
This
then Verstappen's going to be intimidated by Alonso, not
this
like Hamilton of backing out and
this is exactly
whatever.
what I'm hoping for, because as you say, Verstappen and Alonso going down a straight side by side is going to be an interesting thing to happen, I reckon.
Yeah,
I mean,
Alonso,
we've seen in recent years that Alonso can put up, some fantastic races if he has fun.
yes,
If there is something wrong or if he's bored, it's the dreary races.
well,
The
this is
thing
something
that
that's
he has to have fun. Even last year against what was that, Hamilton, or I can't remember, I think it was Hungary or someplace like that. He set up a fantastic duel with yeah, I think it was Lewis.
the,
Uh,
since the second half of last season. You may have noticed something has changed with Alonso. He just seems a more relaxed and happy guy. The incident he had with Stroll, he waved that off
I,
as if nothing had happened.
I know why. I know why. I've seen his bank account, so I know why. So yeah, there's that.
But he just every time something goes wrong with Alonso now, it gets waved off with a smile. Whereas before there would have been
Yeah.
a serious amount of complaining. And that seems to have changed. It's like he's a different guy. It's like he had a chair leg up his arse and somebody pulled it out or something.
Listen, as long as there are new teams in F1, Alonso can find a seat. Because the problem with Alonso is that he can't drive for Renault because everybody hates him. He can't get back to Ferrari because he better not. He can't go back to McLaren. So as long as you got different teams to try, it's good. But eventually they run up out of teams. So there is a problem with Alonso. But yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that might be the case, and you guys can give your thoughts on this. Do you think Seb Vettel sitting at home going, "Oh shit, maybe I made the wrong move there"?
Yeah, possible. I mean, I don't think he. Well, let me go back to this. I don't think he's going to be that upset because with Seb, he made his decision and he knew it was what he wanted to do for his family and for whatever. He had enough money, enough that. And I, if I was in Seb's shoes, and obviously I'm not anywhere near his shoes, but if I could look at his shoes, I would say that they're probably thinking that Aston can't win the championship anyway, and that's probably the only thing that actually will get him to go, oh shit. Maybe if you get halfway through the season and Alonso is leading the championship, he may regret it then.
Yeah.
But up to that point, I'm pretty sure he probably wouldn't. So yeah, that would be my
Only
impression.
time will tell on that one. But I mean, it was a surprise for everybody. I'm fairly sure. Nobody would have put a bet on Alonso finishing third in the first Grand Prix of 2023.
Well, I mean, after testing,
I
yeah,
said
they
it.
would. I mean, after testing, they would, yeah.
Yeah, but if you think about the start of the year and who you thought would be on the podium of the first race, I mean, Alonso wouldn't be one of the guys you were thinking about.
No, absolutely, absolutely. You would have thought one of the Ferraris, or you would have thought it would be the two
Ferrari,
Red Bulls,
Mercedes, Verstappen,
two Red Bulls and Leclerc. I mean, that would have been my guess, and it probably should have been. However, Alonso was a little lucky because of the Ferrari breakdown, I feel. But again, even in testing, right? I mean, what's amazed me, and the reason I'm thinking, well, yeah, actually, they may have a chance. It's the tyre deg. The tyre deg on the Aston is pretty good for whatever reason, and that's what makes the difference, I think. So, I mean, that's when Lewis got to the end of the race, you could hear him complaining about tyres and going, "Well, there's nothing I can do." Sainz said, "I can't give him behind me if you want me to get to the end." Right. So they both knew that the tyre deg on the Ferrari and the Mercedes was just nowhere near up to scratch when it comes to winning a race.
Yeah, admittedly,
so, yeah.
as Alonso was coming through the field, I mean, all the guys he passed, I mean, they all tried to keep him behind and put up some sort of fight, but they just couldn't do it. And he didn't sail past them. I mean, he was a bit iffy on a couple of occasions, but I mean, he did it, and he left them standing.
Yeah. Again, I think personally, 3 DRS zones in Bahrain is too much. But anyway, I mean, and I think there were DRS passes at the end of the day. Although the one with Lewis, wasn't like Fabio said, it was a good move down the inside at turn 11 or something.
Yeah, that was an excellent move, a real racer's move.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But also showing that the grip. If you've got the grip, you can do that relatively easily because it's easy to outbrake someone down there. Yeah. But if you don't have the grip, you're going to have to be going wide. And I think he caught Lewis on the hop there a little bit.
It looks very much to me like a car that would inspire confidence in the driver.
Yeah, indeed.
The way it was bobbing
Balance.
and weaving about the track there. Yeah, it seemed like a good car that'll go where you want it to.
Yeah, I agree. And I was very happy. I mean, I am very happy that at least somebody has come from the midfield to at least give some kind of challenge, even if it's only to Ferrari and Mercedes.
Indeed. But I guess Toto Wolff's going to be a bit disappointed.
Is he?
This Monday.
Yeah,
Mm,
I mean, he before the race, he wasn't giving anything to Aston Martin. I mean, he was almost writing them off, going, "Well, yeah, yeah, they had a good test, but when it comes to the race, you'll see we've got good pace, we've got good race pace."
Uh-huh.
When it comes to the race, no, you don't.
No, the
Alonso
the
turns out
Aston
they
visibly
were
better car.
sandbagging. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a visibly better car than Hamilton and Russell.
yeah, yeah. Although, yeah, I wouldn't say the car wasn't better. The deck was superior.
Uh,
Again,
uh,
one.
Another driver who seems to have relaxed maybe a bit and is enjoying himself is Bottas. He seemed
For
to be a
sure.
bit more um, animated this weekend as well, especially with his driving.
Mm.
And let's
Well,
hope that stays.
yeah. Well, if you notice, he's gone back to Bottas 2.0 with just the moustache, without
Yeah,
the beard. So
Have you
that's
seen Have you
and he's
seen the
got plenty of.
helmet from Bottas? The one that they showed in, I think, in the tests, stuff like that. Have you seen the helmet?
no.
No,
It was fucking brilliant. I haven't got a picture in front of me right now, but it was flesh color with mustache over here. It
Oh,
was basically the head of Bottas, with the hair. So it was fucking brilliant.
love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it a lot. Okay. I mean, that's great. I mean, not a bad beginning race. I'd say not a bad first race. It is Bahrain, of course, which does lead to these like I don't know. It is a strange circuit because it's a night circuit. And my feeling is this is probably a better circuit for Ferrari and Mercedes than some circuits. So I think Red Bull could actually clear off into the distance by quite a way, unless those two teams start doing something pretty dramatic to their cars and improving them very quickly. Hopefully, as you said, Fabio, earlier. Hopefully, the lack of time in the wind tunnel is going to at least affect Red Bull on their upgrading ability, in which case, potentially, other teams have got a chance to catch them. Although
Yeah.
I do feel by the end it's going to be way too late, of
Well,
course.
I mean, we never know. I mean, you know more than me that in F1 the name of the game is development during the season. We saw what happened last year.
Uh-huh.
So we never know. I mean, things can change quite drastically, in a matter of months, as long as
Yeah.
time goes away. The main thing is that um like
Okay.
like what has happened in Ferrari. Yeah, that one. That I mean that is
That's
fucking brilliant.
Bottas's helmet.
Yeah, it's
That's
fantastic.
great. Look at this.
Uh
I love it.
in
Okay.
Ferrari, they claimed that the problem that Leclerc had was unexpected, meaning that, in my opinion, was something that it never showed to be something critical or stuff like that. And so I wouldn't be too worried about it right now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, again,
Hmm.
development is the key, has
Yep.
always been the key, in since 20 years in F1. So we see what happens. There is place for improvement by everybody, and we'll
Mm.
see what happens. But it's
Mm.
hard. I mean, it's really hard.
It's hard. That Red Bull is a stunning car. I mean, they've done it again. I mean, Adrian knew he's done it again. Let's face it. The aero on it is amazing. And
I guess the Cold War era, the Cold War era wind tunnel is working well, despite
yeah.
despite
I'm not so sure that it's an that the advantage is in the aero of that car.
Oh, okay.
No, as
You
I
you
said
alluded
before,
to this earlier. So,
yeah.
do you want to spill the beans, or should we save
No,
that
no,
for
no. I
another?
I have no idea. I was
Okay.
really I'm really surprised by the setup that the Red Bull seem to
Mm.
be able to run. And I'm really surprised by how that car is neutral both in high speed corners and on the bumps. That is not aero. That is that is suspensions.
Geometry, yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know if it's a particular setup or they found some solutions, but I'm not really convinced that the problem is there. I don't think there is too much difference between the efficiency of the aero between like
Mm.
Red Bull and Ferrari and Aston and all the other cars. I think there is something more, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully somebody will figure it out and
Yeah.
they will find something. But I'm not so sure about that.
Okay. Okay, I've got a few things to finish up with, some of the comments, etc.
Yes, yes.
So is there anything you want to say, Lucky, before I move to the closing?
Well, are we keeping things tight on time tonight? Are we?
We're trying to, yes, because it's the
Right.
first show. So
Fair enough. What can be said? I mean, the talk of the race was Alonso, really, wasn't it?
yeah,
Let's hope that he can get himself further up the podium next time, and his teammate won't fucking drive into him.
yes, that would be good. That would be good. Okay,
But
look, let's just. I just want to. I'll go through this first, and then I will come back to you both anyway.
Sure.
But I just want to go through some of the comments right now, if I can. So, Geo Sam asks Cadillac and Andretti. Any thoughts?
I was waiting for that. I saw that, so I was waiting for that. But please carry on.
Well, no, I'll go last. In fact, I probably won't say anything just to save time. But go ahead, Lucky, you first.
Well, I believe it's Toto Wolff that's putting the veto on the Andretti team coming in. He seems to be dead set against it and is of the opinion that they will bring nothing to F1. In fact, he thinks it will detract from F1 because Mercedes and the rest of the teams won't get their fair share of cash.
Yeah.
Which I think is absolutely ridiculous. If you can show that you've got the budget and the which is fixed, by the way, so it's easy to show you've got that budget, and you have the facilities to build a car and race it, I think that you should be allowed in within reason.
Yeah.
And I think Andretti, especially given the fact that F1 is getting more popular in America, would it not be a good thing to get the American money that Toto doesn't seem to realize?
Oh, no, he realizes, of course, but GM or Cadillac are only coming in as a branding, not as a manufacturer. So that's
right.
That's the rub of it in some sense. Cadillac is the name because Andretti's been spurned by the Formula One teams.
Yeah,
because they don't want extra people in. They really don't. There's been a little bit of controversy actually with Sky because Martin Brundle has been saying that these teams should come in against the wishes of the Formula One teams. So some of the Formula One teams, namely Red Bull, have been throwing their weight around a little bit, saying, "Look, we may, we don't want to ban Sky from talking to us, but come on now, you've got to be a little more diplomatic than you're currently being, and naming the names is not the way to go." But anyway, that's another thing altogether. There's been a few more other things said. Fabio, any quick thoughts on Cadillac and Andretti?
Yeah, so I would say that I wouldn't listen to whatever anybody in the F1 says about new teams, because of course they got a reason to do that. I mean, the pie is the same, so they got to split the pie, and if you put somebody else in there, your slice is getting smaller. So I don't care what Toto Wolff said or anybody else. That's the reason they said that. I understand that. To me, the real problem is a guy whose name is Ben Sulayem, who's the owner of the F1, which has been the joy of everything which went in between, the last race and the next race. He is the guy which said, intervened in a presumed offer which has been done, by somebody to Liberty Media, saying, "No, that's too much. I know that," and he's not even the owner of the company.
Yeah.
And the guys in Liberty Media, they just freak the fuck out rightly so, in my opinion. He's the same guy, which said that the drivers shouldn't say things, they should be careful what they say, you know. And he's the guy which, because of all that stuff, he had to make a step back and appoint Tom Bazis as the referent now for FIA for the single seater.
Hmm.
There was a massive thing going on between Liberty Media and the FIA and the F1,
Hmm.
namely, and I know me and you, Simons, we discussed it. I think the people, uh, when Stefano Domenicali was appointed, by Liberty Media as the head, person in Liberty Media, they thought, yeah, I mean, I put in this guy, but really the owners are the other guy. They really underestimated him. And in my opinion, right now, the person which is more representative of the sport and defending, the sport for what it is actually Liberty Media, which is astonishing because
Hmm.
they only have the rights to do that, and mostly because of the Domenicali, which is in place right now. He is a fantastic guy.
Hmm.
He has an engineering background and a really good uh, manager. He proved himself in Lamborghini and all the other stuff. And right now he's the guy. And I think that if Domenicali was in the FIA, that all, Andretti, getting back to the question that Gio Sam said, the old Cadillac and Andretti thing would have been solved in like a split second. There is another guy, yeah, come in, no question asked.
Yeah.
Is that guy? But that's the difference between people which have a passion for the sport and people which have only a passion for the politics. And right now, it is astonishing. But right now, the FIA, it seemed to me that they have no passion for the sport or really low passion for the sport, while Liberty Media has more passion for the sport
For,
than the
yeah.
FIA has, which is, yeah, it's puzzling, it's strange, but right now that's absolutely the case. So
Okay.
yeah,
Two things. The offer that they were made, Liberty Media, to sell Formula One was massive. I mean, we're
yeah.
talking what, 400% profit straight away on
I
4
think I think
billion.
that the offer was
Hello.
20 million. Sorry.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
allegedly, yeah.
yeah, and Liberty Media paid like 8 million or
No,
six, eight,
4. I think
six.
it was 4. 4
Yeah,
billion.
yeah, okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, it was. Yeah,
It was a tiny amount compared to the
yeah.
offer, and that's
Mhm.
why they're so. Well, I mean, that's why they're rightly pissed off at Ben Sulayem coming in and saying 20 billion is too much for it.
Yeah,
Like the FIA would know about the finances and what the what the company's worth, right? Sorry,
That
but no,
right,
you barely know what your own fucking
right.
bank balance is, mate. Come on now. And
that
obviously, if he wasn't taking backhanders for Andretti trying to get in, I'll be a monkey's uncle, just to say that. Allegedly. Go ahead, Lucky.
this man in charge of the FIA is living in a fucking dream world.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, absolutely.
I've been kind of busy over the past couple of months with a couple of different things, and I listened to quite a few sort of podcasts and things like that. When he was up for election as head of the FIA, one of his promises was that he would increase motorsport um, involvement, that is, people competing in motorsport, by 25%. Now, if you've ever raced a car, you'll know it's expensive. There's only one thing that's more expensive than a woman, and that's a race car. Believe me, there is no way on earth that motorsport activity will increase by 25% unless people's incomes start increasing by 25%. As we all know, that's not going to happen. The guy's living in a fucking dream world. And, I'm getting a bit cynical at the moment. Instead of us calling this a sport, we should be calling it an entertainment package, because that's
Yes.
the way it seems to be going.
Yeah, I get you.
It's
It's certainly with Abu Dhabi 2021, right? We
Well-
can definitely say that with the debacle there. But look, Okay, sorry. Do you want to wrap up? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Very quickly. Another thing I was listening to was Frank Durney talking about his time at Williams. He said for the first, in 1979, I think it was, the first Grand Prix of the year, he said, including the drivers, the team that went to the race numbered 20. There's more than 20 people in Red Bull's fucking catering wagon these days.
Yeah.
This is how much we've gone from Formula One motorsport to an entertainment business package.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's what it's turned into.
Absolutely. The modern age.
Just being a whiny little bitch. So perhaps we should move on.
Sure. I mean, in previous days when the budgets weren't so large, of course, you'd have 26 cars starting and you'd have about 50 cars qualifying. So, I mean,
you had teams that didn't
just say-
qualify for the race.
Yeah, you have to qualify for the race, right? Back in the day. But anyway, look, that's a past gone era, and things are very different now. It's
Absolutely,
billions.
Yeah, I'm just being an old man.
You had to qualify for the qualifying, actually.
That's correct. Yeah, there was pre-qualifying earlier in the week. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I had a bit of pre-qualifying just the other day, actually. Okay, moving on from my terrible jokes. Yeah. Bob says, I want to see Verstappen, Alonso, and Leclerc playing Minecraft as deep fakes with some good banter. I think that you may be referring to us, yeah. Because I can do Dutch accent just like Max Verstappen. Verstappen can sometimes show that's really great, and I'm sure you can do Leclerc. Can you do one of you do Leclerc for me, please?
I'm not even trying to pretend what the fuck you said. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, I would like to see that as well. Moving on then. Perez says he's getting ever closer to Verstappen. Lol.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how close he gets to Verstappen. Makes no fucking difference. Just saying. And did you see the rake?
Verstappen will never win unless Perez helps him again.
Yeah. Did you see the rake on the car, on the Red Bull? Guys, did you notice that there was a rake on the Red Bull again?
Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Just saying there was a rake on the Red Bull. That's all. If that isn't meaning that Verstappen has exactly what he wants, then I don't know what does. Geo Sam says thanks for answering my question, and he also says catch you all later, and he also says cheers. So
before you go, Sam,
covering all the bases there. Go ahead.
Before you go, you can see Verstappen examples of Verstappen playing games on the internet, and he can be quite moody, shall we say?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's had a hard upbringing, that lad.
He struggled. He struggled hard.
Yeah, he's had a hard upbringing, I would tell you.
He had to play games. He had to play games when his dad wasn't speaking to them for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he had to find girlfriends for his dad, apparently.
Oh, well,
Simos, your Dutch accent is below pa. You see, I say pa there. I don't say pa. I say pa. So it's not all bad. Sometimes, my accent is with my partner is very good somehow. Thank you.
It's still under development, that accent, I think, is it?
I don't know what it is. It's my voice is tired, so whatever it is, it's what it is. Okay, look, thank you very much, guys. That's been the first round, the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 1 of the 2023 FIFA World Championship, Formula One. And yeah, anything you want to say on the outros, guys?
Yeah, see you next time for another exciting commentary on the World Superbike Championship. Yeah, and that's it. I don't know what the fuck you guys have been talking about for an hour, but yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I've been talking about either. So there you go.
Who are you?
Let me just see. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Ignore me.
So is it Saudi Grand Prix 19th of March, Saudi Grand Prix. So that's what 2 weeks. Yeah. So we've got 2 weeks till the next one. We'll be seeing you in 2 weeks' time on the Monday, And thank you, everybody. And thank you to Geo Sam, especially for the intro and outro. And great to see you, Bub. Hopefully you'll be back. And we'll speak to everybody later. Oh.